Hi. I wanted to do a follow-up to a video that I did last week about a relationship that I have with a friend, and we had a conversation by phone, and it didn't go the way that I would have liked to have. And I want to give an example of a follow-up that happened with another friend, and the two of these things tie in. So the topic is, how do we show up in relationships when we're feeling hurt, when we feel like people aren't meeting our needs? We can't figure out, is this something we need to handle on our own? Is this something that we talk about with the other person? So if you missed the previous video, I talked about a relationship that I have had with somebody for many, many years. And about 2 years ago, something pretty significant happened in my life, and it kind of really threw me off track. I got very out of balance. I was very angry. I was very upset. The trajectory of my life changed. The good news is I'm here today, and the reason why I'm here doing the things that I'm doing is really a result of this, what felt like a tragedy at the time. But what happened in this relationship is we'd been friends for years, and because the needs in the relationship were not super high, we just went along and had what was a very good, satisfying, fulfilling relationship. But when this event happened to me, it just threw me into a tailspin. My needs were higher. I don't think the relationship could tolerate it. I think that what I was needing, I don't even know if I could tell you what I was needing at the time. But this other person just really, my anger really affected her. And because of her history around anger, like this is where our wounding can intersect, because she had issues around anger and I was pretty angry. I wasn't angry with her, but it was hard for her to be around. So over the course of the last 2 years, our relationship has kind of shifted and deteriorated. We had what I felt was a very productive phone conversation a couple weeks ago, but it became pretty evident to me in that phone call that our needs are just very different. Where we're at is very different. I'm growing and changing, and I really reach out and connect when I need support. She tends to withdraw. Nobody's right or wrong here. This is just a commentary on what I'm aware of. And I want to be really clear that I had a part in the demise of the relationship. I didn't show up and tell the truth because I felt like I must be being too sensitive, and it was my issue. I had very unrealistic expectations. I figured everybody connected at the level that I did, and so I couldn't understand why she couldn't meet me at that level, and I continually expressed my disappointment, expecting her behavior to change. That's really not realistic in a friendship or a relationship. And then I constantly felt disappointed because I had these unrealistic expectations. So expectations and disappointments, we have our own wounding, we have different attachment styles, we have different ways that we show up in relationships. These were all problematic. So I had this experience with her. And then I have another friend that I've known for 25 years. She's lived overseas for probably the last 20 years and comes to San Diego twice a year. We have a very close relationship. I've talked about the app Marco Polo that I use. If you're not familiar with it, it's an app where I can video myself talking to her. I send it, and then because she's in another time zone, when she has time, she'll listen to the polo. She can respond back. It's a pretty neat way of staying in touch. So what had happened on the heels of this experience with a friend, I had a pretty stressful week. I had a couple of pretty big, in my world, very traumatic things happen. And so I reached out and sent, I call it a polo. So I sent a polo to my friend. And we also communicate on an app called WhatsApp. And I could have sent her a message saying, hey, I sent you a polo. There's a lot going on. Can you watch it? But this is also part of my wounding, where my unexpressed desire was, I'm sending you something, you should know it's important and you should read it. That's on me. That is not a realistic expectation. It's an expectation. It's not good or bad. So I sent her this polo on a Tuesday, didn't hear from her. And then Saturday or Sunday, she responded, and she felt really bad for not listening and responding earlier. She wanted to make sure that everybody was okay. Everything was okay. I waited a day. And what came up for me is I was feeling hurt and angry. My expectation was, if I were important, you would have listened to this earlier. And now that you feel bad, I want you to feel really bad. And there was a part of me that wanted to wait 5 or 6 days to respond to her because I wanted her to feel that sense of hurt and not being attended to. I really wasn't sure how to deal with it. I'm wired to be intense and deep. I've got a great sense of humor, but I'm intense and deep. And not everybody appreciates that, understands it, can do relationships at the depth that I can. I have a couple of really close friends and I'm really blessed, but I get that not everybody does relationships the way that I do. So I sat with it for a day and then I poloed her and I was in a pretty vulnerable place. And I said, I'm having a big reaction. You haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing that you need to do to change. I don't know how to sit with these feelings. I don't know what to do to heal. And so I'm going to share with you how I'm feeling. And if you're not in a place to listen to this, then don't do it right now. And I ended the polo and then I started a new one and went into it because I wanted to give her a heads up. I think as highly sensitive people, it helps us if we know if big things are coming, we need to be in the right place. If she got home at the end of a hard day and listened to this, it might be too much. So these are things we can do as highly sensitive people to let people know ahead of time, trigger warning, going to talk about something intense or deep. So then I shared with her what was going on. I shared with her, like, I'm wanting to punish you and I wanted you to know how much I was hurting. And I have wounding from childhood, some abandonment issues. And so when I reach out to you and you don't respond, it triggers that abandonment. And then the way that I feel really powerless, I feel what I felt as a kid was that no matter what I did, I couldn't get my dad to respond to me. And it really felt terrible. And I don't like feeling powerless. So usually when we feel that overwhelming sense of powerlessness, we want to do something to get back at people. So the way that I wanted to get back at my friend was, fine, I'm just not going to polo you for a week and let you sit with it. And then you're going to feel sad that I'm not here. And then you're going to really appreciate me. That's about my childhood, feeling like I wasn't seen, I wasn't appreciated, I wasn't valued, I wasn't heard. That is not going on today. And this friend has been there for me. She's solid. I can count on her, and we're human. And she has a lot going on in her world, and her not responding, her not watching the polo when I sent it was not about her not caring. It was about her being busy in her life, and this is not a pattern for her. So I had to remind myself that, and I share this with her in the polo. I really reiterated, you don't have to do anything. I'm just trying to figure out how to heal. I sent it. And then I felt really vulnerable and I felt really uncomfortable. And I started to doubt, like, maybe I really shouldn't have processed that with her. That was a lot. It's really not about her. It's about me. And I sat with the discomfort for a day or two. So this has been probably a week or two now. And in the course of this time, we've poloed back and forth. And what she said to me was, I feel so safe with you. I can trust that you will tell me how you're feeling and you don't blame me and you don't make me wrong for it. I cried when I heard that because my experience for most of my life is people telling me, you're too much, you're too needy, making it all about me. And that we can kind of tie this back into the first experience that I was telling you about with the other relationship. Nobody's right or wrong in it, but based on what I need in this relationship and what this other person needs, I probably do come off as being too needy and too deep and too intense. I'm not. It's just that we're in different places and this other person doesn't operate at that same level. So it's not a good match, at least not now. So back to this relationship with my friend overseas. I was really clear that I did not have an expectation that she would change her behavior. And she said, can we make an agreement that if you're really needing me, to send me a message on WhatsApp and let me know, because I want to be here for you. I get wrapped up in my own stuff. And what I appreciate and value so much, and this is really the point of this message, is it's not about whether she listens to my polo or doesn't or responds. It's not about the outcome. It's about the process. And the process was that I was willing to show up and be really vulnerable and own my part in it and not have expectations. And because of the depth of our relationship, she was able to hear my message and go, I'm really sorry. And I love how you were able to tell me what's going on for you. It makes me feel really safe. I know what to expect. I don't expect you to get mad and leave the relationship. And for me, I felt heard and valued. I can show up and be me. I can talk to you about my hurts. And I had said in a follow-up polo, maybe I shouldn't be processing with you. Maybe I should have asked for permission first. So in the future, Gracie is on my lap. There's her little head if you're watching this on video. Let me just flip her over. Oops, she's caught up in the wires. Sorry about that, guys. So this is what happens when you have a dog on your lap when you record. You duck her down. Okay. So let me grab my train of thought. I'm kind of focused on the dog now. I kind of lost it. Anyways, so the gift is that we've been able to talk about the connection. And that's really what it's about. It's not about the outcome. It's about being able to talk about what goes on in the relationship and how we're affected by it. That's what intimacy is about. It's not about trying to control the other person. It's funny, this is a minor example, but I've been having sleep problems recently. My mind is just really busy. I used to be such a great sleeper. And at night, we like to sleep with a window open, my husband and I, not my friend. um, so we sleep with the window open, and he hears something in the middle of the night, and he gets up and closes the window. I don't hear what he's hearing, but his closing the window wakes me up, and then it takes me a few hours to fall back asleep. And then I've been feeling really resentful. Fortunately, one of my sons is away at college, and so I often go to his room because if I get on my phone or use my Kindle, the light or the noise disturbs my husband. So I've been going into the other room. And then in the morning when he gets up, he takes a shower in the front of the house where my son's bedroom is, and then that wakes me up. So I was feeling pretty crabby the other day, like I can't get any sleep and I'm tired and I got all this stuff to do. I didn't say that, but I thought about it. So we had a talk the other night, and I said, I'm really not sure what to do because I love having the window open and I don't hear the noise that you're hearing, but when you close the window, it wakes me up and then I can't sleep and I'm starting to feel resentful. So maybe I need to sleep with earplugs. Maybe I need to sleep in the other room. If I sleep in my son's room, the window's not open because there's too much noise because the wall faces or the window faces some neighbors. So I said, maybe we just need to close the window. Because I was willing to be vulnerable with my husband and not make him wrong or bad, and to say, like, I don't know what to do. And really, I want to have a good relationship with my husband. I want to be crabby all the time. This is another example of how we show up in relationships and we talk about what's going on without making anybody wrong, without making rules. I mean, I could have said, like, you can't close the window in the middle of the night because I'm losing sleep, or you should be doing this. I don't know what the answer is, but it gave us an opportunity to talk about the process and it took the edge off. I'm not feeling resentful. So we're going to figure some new things out and try some things. My point is that in relationships where people can see and hear us and have the capacity to respond, when we're willing to show up and be uncomfortable, to talk about our feelings, to sit with the risk, to know what our values are. My values are, I want honest communication, I want compassion, I want intimacy, and I'm really clear when I communicate. We get the gift of intimacy with people, of real closeness, and being able to show up and be exactly who we are with people. I get that not everybody has these types of relationships, but I think that if you take the tools that I'm talking about and you try them out in small bits with people. Also, we have to look at our wounding. I mean, I think my wounding was pretty clear in my story with my friend who's overseas, that it brought up abandonment, it brought up expectations, it brought up how I think she should be behaving. I got to own that stuff. That's my stuff. That has nothing to do with her. I can have fantasies about how I want her to show up. I don't have a right to expect that. I can say what I like, but the outcome, that's not for me to say. Obviously, in relationships, there are deal breakers, and so that's another topic. But I just really would love to encourage people to think about, how are you showing up in relationships? How honestly are you able to share? Often we go, like I went into the anger and the hurt and wanting to punish. And if I would have talked to her from that place, it wouldn't have worked to develop intimacy and trust in our relationship. So often when we're feeling angry, resentful, we need to go a little bit deeper. What's going on underneath? And it's usually hurt or fear. And if we can tap into that, and if it's someone that we can be safe with that can hear us, if we talk from that place about what's getting triggered for us, it really allows people to move in and be close to us. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'd love to hear how this is for you, and if there's more things that you want to hear about. Thanks. Have a great day.